Hey guys, Crafty Steve back here with another video, and today we have a review of the FCM 50T, the newly released Tier 8 Premium Medium Tank. I believe this tank came out on Friday, so it's pretty fresh. It's been out for about 2 days, so yeah. Why don't we do a quick little review on this thing. So to start us off, let's run down on some of its stats. So first off, we can see that the tank has 1500 hit points, which is above average for Tier 8 medium tanks. It's more than the Type 59, which I think gets 1300, and the Pershing, which also gets 1440. So the FCM 50T has a good amount of hit points, which is good because it needs it to soak up the hits. On the armor side, it's okay. It's better than most medium tanks of this tier. It's certainly not better than the... Actually, is it better than the Type 59? I think it might be in terms of thickness. It's better, but the Type 59, as you can see, is a lot more bouncy than what the FCM 50T is. Because the FCM's 50T's front plate, while it might be 120mm thick, it's not great angling. It's about maybe 40 degrees at most. It's not really that great. It might even be 30 degrees. It's quite wide, and if you're down on top of it, it is quite flat and easy to penetrate. As for the rest of the armor, again, 120 on the turret doesn't do too bad, but it certainly isn't Pershing-like, nor Type 59. So, yeah, for all intents and purposes, this thing will just get penned with every shot that's fired at it. It's certainly not as bad as the STA one. You will get some bounces here and there, but don't expect to bounce in this machine. Well, then you're thinking, if it's not got good armor and it's about as big as a heavy tank, then what are its strengths? Well, you can see here that although it may be 55 tons, it has 1000 horsepower engine, which is insane. I think all the extra space up the back here stores two 500 horsepower engines, which powers this thing along and gives it about 18 horsepower per ton, which is very, very good for this tier. So while this tank may be the biggest in tier, it is actually also one of the best in terms of horsepower to ton ratio. However, it kind of lacks in its top speed, being only 51 kilometers an hour. It may not be no Centurion in terms of top speed, so it's not terrible, but it's not as good as, say, the Type 59, for example. Traverse speed, it's pretty good. Its traverse speed is actually about average for the tier, with its turret traverse also being pretty decent. Now we move on to the part about this tank, which makes it playable, I guess. It's got quite a good, 90mm gun, I think it is, which does a standard 225 alpha damage with 8.33 rounds a minute. But what makes this stand out from some of the other 90mm guns at Tier 8 is its penetration. It has 212, which is very, very good for a 90mm gun at this tier. We could compare that to the Pershing, which has, I think, about 180mm of penetration. Yep, 180mm penetration on its standard rounds. And so yeah, so the FCM 50T also gets decent DPM. It's almost as good as the STA one, I think, being 0.4 rounds per minute off. But yeah, that's still pretty good. And also some pretty decent accuracy stats. 0.36, while it's pretty decent, it's not fantastic. It's certainly not as good as the Panther 2, which I think gets 0.34. And its aiming time, again, it's not overly fantastic, but it'll do for this sort of tank. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the running down of stats on the FCM 50T. So to round that all up, for the most part, this tank is going to get penned any way you hit. You might get a few bounces, particularly off here around the mantlet, and sometimes on the front plate if you angle it well, but for the most part, your side is very big. You've got a huge side profile, and it's pretty easy to hit and pen you. You've got a cupola on your turret, although I won't assume many people will shoot for that because the whole rest of the turret around here is pretty much a guaranteed pen by anything that this tank will come across. But yeah, to make up for that lack of armor, you've also got quite a good maneuverability. You've got quite good maneuverability with your 1000 horsepower engine and 18 horsepower per ton, as well as a decent 90mm gun that at this tier will do its job pretty darn well. But anyway, let's get into some gameplay of the FCM 50T to see just how well it does in games. We join late here in this first game on Rockfield, and in this game I believe I am platooned up with, I think Jamison wins, I can't quite remember in this one to be honest, but me and Jamison have both taken our FCM 50Ts to the east flank, I think, yeah, east flank, and we're just waiting for some of the enemies to come up. But alas, none of them have been spotted, so I decided to make a move up forward to try and progress this battle. Oh, we spot a Yag Panther 2, who's obviously AFK in base, and put one shot into him. Another shot, I think, yes, another shot straight into him, and the Yag Panther 2 finishes him off. Waiting on the reload here now. There's not very many targets down that way, so I decide to double back and go around to the middle, see if we can get some long-range shots on this tank, which really is one of the strengths of this tank. Long-range sniping with this thing is very good, particularly with its not really lack of armor, but not really great armor. Ooh, we have a shot on the T-30, and boom, straight into his cupola. That's what I'm talking about when I mean long-range sniping. Low. And even, oh, and again, they may have both been low rolls, but still, those are two pretty good shots. Other medium tanks at tier 8 would really struggle to put those shots into that top hatch of a T-30. So sort of, that's the gameplay style that the FCM 50T likes, just sniping in the back, and it has the maneuverability to relocate and keep the engagements to mid and long range. Spot an E75. I think we're gonna go wolf pack him down. Our whole team is pretty much coming after him, which is exactly what we should be doing here. Ooh, shot into his side, somehow pinned. I don't know how that went through, but we'll take it. Ooh. Try and clutch shot the cupola, but I missed unfortunately, so we ricochet off his turret roof. But the next one goes in, he's tracked, doesn't have very much where to go. Ooh, that hit the top of his upper plate and didn't bounce. But thankfully, I don't think he was using the 155mm gun, because that rolls low at 450. So I think he might be using the 122mm gun, which is the stock gun. Not quite the stock gun, actually. The stock gun on that tank is the 105mm T5E1, but let's just pretend that doesn't exist. Okay, so I move back to my sniping position here to try and get some shots on the enemy heavies who are camping the other side of the ridge, but I realize all too soon that I'm going to have to move in to reset this cap. So I start heading northwest towards the cap circle. I go it out wide just so that the cappers won't really see me coming, hopefully. At least that's the plan. But unfortunately I get spotted by a Carnarvon. I have to ignore him for now and reset the cap because it's almost at 70. Coming around the corner, and it's already been reset, so no worries here. I expect to be coming at his back here, but unfortunately he's seen me and turned around to face, which is unfortunate. I put one shot in and Jamison finishes him off. Now we get to show the accuracy of this tank. Boom, that was pretty quick to aim and fire. And we put one into the Carnarvon. Another great shot into the Carnarvon. The accuracy of the FCM 50T showing here. That was a poorly aimed shot. We missed, but ooh, hello Lurvey. I didn't even know he was there. We enable auto aim and auto aim a shot straight into his side. I floated APCR, which when I was shooting at his side isn't really necessary, but whatever. And the Jagdpanther 2 finishes him off. So we end up with no kills, but still a pretty good game. 2.6k damage in that one. 1.4 for Jamison. We made 38,000 credits and did pretty good damage. Now we load quickly into the next one. I'm sort of AFK here for a second, but I joined back into it. And this time I am with Vikram, and he is in his T44, and I'm in the FCM 50T. And those observant of you will notice that this is on the same map as the last game. And yes, it is, but I promise this entire review won't all just be on Rockfield. The last one, I believe, is on Falls Creek. Or Falls Creek, whatever you like. But anyways, we've moved back to the medium flank again, where I was last game, and this time we actually have some competition for this area rather than last time, where we really just got to snipe from this position most of the time. Ooh, T-32's coming over the bridge. I wait for the tracking shot. But unfortunately, the T-32 puts one more in and rolls back over the ridge, obviously using his repair kit. Don't have a shot on the T-44, so I leave him. Ooh. I could have put a clutch shot there into the RU-251, but probably wasn't going to be likely that it goes through. I try and move up here, but bad idea. I spot a Pershing. I put one in using third person, but then I move back. Try to look for another one on the RU-251, but not to be. And we move back to where we started the game. Clutch one into the T-44, the FCM 50T's accuracy showing this off. Oh, and a beautiful shot straight into the VK. I don't know how that one went in. You can see what a vertical stabilizer can do to help with the accuracy of this tank. We put another one into the T-32. Can we get another one in? I'd foolishly go for the tracking shot. I should have shot his lower plate there, because it was quite likely he was going to use the repair kit. The battle is actually looking quite grim right now. We are 0-3 down, and oh, we bounce a shot on the lower plate of the T-32. That was painful. Yes, we are 0-3 down. Our team isn't doing very well. The cap got interrupted, everything's just started to go wrong. But alas, we keep fighting. We fight till the end, and only give up once the battle is finished. The VK comes around the corner, I'm unable to put a shot into him. But then I charge up, I'm gonna go finish this T-32 off. I ignore the VKA for now. I'm finishing off the T-32, which is really our only hope at winning, as we are now 5 love down. Put one into the T-32, but he puts one in as well. But I have the much faster reload, and we finish him off. My IS-6 buddy, however, is about to die, and things are starting to look grim now, as I am 1 versus 6. Which is not great. I put 1 into the VK, I put 2 into the VK, and now putting this my 3rd, I think. 1 shot from finishing him off, but no, it just wasn't to be. The VK finishes me off. 2.7k damage in that game. Unfortunate heartbreak, but we move on. Our final game today is being played on Falls Creek, and I am back with Jamison Wins, who is in his IS-6. Now, I didn't mention this in the garage, but the suggested equipment, or my recommended loadout, is large caliber tank gun rammer, vents, and a vertical stabilizer. I recommend these because rammer is standard on all tanks for me, just to increase that rate of fire, and also just make your DPM better than most of the other people playing these tanks, if they don't run rammer. Vents is also standard on all tanks for me, just because it's good. Plus 10% to all crew perks and skills is something that I'd like to have, which it gives you like not a 10% buff to accuracy, definitely, but it's like, I think it's like a 5%, maybe less, something like that. It's just an extra percentage of like crew skills and stuff, like accuracy, aim time. It reduces it by a certain percentage. I don't know how it's determined, but it just helps to have just that little bit better aim time and accuracy and reload and all those sorts of perks and stuff like that. And then the last one, the V-Stab, is also one of two for the last slot that is, what's the word that I'm looking for, that I use on all my tanks. It's either vertical stabilizer or an enhanced gun lane drive, depending on what can fit on the tank. If a vertical stabilizer can fit, I always run a vertical stabilizer. Vertical stabilizer is much more applicable in more situations than the enhanced gun lane drive, just because of the way it works. We put one into the turret roof of the IS-3. That's a very nice shot to make. And we move up to this hill on the west side of the map. West side of the cap circle part of the map, should I say. Looking for a shot on the IS-3, can't quite get one, but we have a big fat juicy T-34 who seems to be all on his own. I rush the shot, aim it poorly, and it goes straight into his upper plate. And now I angle myself weird here. I didn't expect the T-34 to be able to hit me, but apparently he can. And I also thought he was aiming at my friend Jamison as well, but Ricochet went off his turret roof, which kind of sucks, but it doesn't really mean that much as of right now. He's getting woofed down, and another bounce. Would have liked to have stolen that kill there. That would have been kind of funny. Ooh, FCM 50T. Yes, I'll take that one straight into the side of his turret. Just gonna wait here patiently, see if this FCM 50T comes out around here and we can plug a few into him. Oh, is he gonna come out? Yes, he is, but oh, that one goes high. I think that hit his turret cheek and bounced off. And we can't quite get a shot off here. If I was to fire, all I'd do is track him, which isn't really that useful. I'm aiming up on this IS-3, not sure whether he's going to come out into the open. I'm thinking at this point the FCM 50T might come for some more, but he doesn't. He stays perfectly in cover, and I decide that it's best to move up to where my allied Centurion is going to engage this IS-3. Come round to make a charge to finish him off, but the Centurion ends up getting him. Load AP back for the Centurion, back of the Centurion's turret, one in him. Can we get the kill? Yes, we can. And that is now one kill for me, just before my platoon mate in the IS-6 goes down. We put one into the FCM 50T, once again showing really the armor doesn't bounce much. The armor on the FCM 50T really doesn't bounce much. I think in all of these games we've played, I think I've bounced about maybe one or two shots perhaps, and most of the other shots have just gone right through. He put a very crafty shot there into the T-28 prototype. Oh, and a lucky one. That was poorly aimed, and it went straight into the side of his gun mantlet, but still did damage. But I'll take that any day of the week. Cheery's coming up behind us, but I leave him for this Tiger. I was going to go around and get the FCM 50T, but I trust my Centurion 1 friend to finish him off. Don't know how that shot missed, to be honest. I think I might have had some server lag there, and the gun was going in the complete wrong direction. I miss another shot somehow. God, my aiming's being a bit poor. I would have made probably all of these shots if I just had have turned auto aim on. Alas, the Centurion 1 finishes him off, and now it's two tier 8 mediums up against a Cheery. Churi doesn't really have that much of a hope. Load another shot in here. Take a shot on the move around the corner. Yes, we put it in. And now I'm going to show you the ramming potential of this tank, which I also didn't talk about at the start of the video. Because it weighs 55 tons and has a 1,000 horsepower engine, it can go quite fast. I get greedy here, I don't fire my shot just so I can get all the ramming damage, but he ends up finishing it off, and we roll 24 points low of killing him from a ram. GG to the Centurion, picking up his Radley Walters medal. Me and him did very well there in that battle. 3.2k for me, 1.4 for Jamison, 51,000 credits made. Some pretty decent damage to all tanks in this game. But yeah, that's the FCM 50T for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and why not even subscribe. That way you'll never miss a video. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time.